All right, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, so hopefully this phone will overheat, but we already know how to do out in this Florida sun. Trying to sleep in the bed you made, chapter 10, part 2. I was reading, and then it got hot for like the second time on my live earlier, so I only have one page left, so let me get it over so we can move along. All right, so he didn't act up, but my Ray told me not to mess with him because he didn't want to be the one thing. He didn't want but one thing from a girl like me. I wasn't never pretty, but boys had been sniffing around because I had a big butt and big titties, well developed as they used to say. She took a swallow of scotch. My Ray always did read people good, but I was young. Pat tugged at her blouse, trying to hide the gap that strained the buttons on the front, a gap that hadn't been there last week. He started riding me home every night, telling me about sit-ins in New York City, all kinds of shit I didn't know about. Gave me a fake gold necklace, a mustard seed, and a little glass ball, probably from Krieger's. I acted such a fool you would have thought it was a diamond. He read me poems and told me he loved me, and I was dumb enough to believe him. Verna struck a match and let it burn down almost to her finger before she shook it out. 2 weeks before he was supposed to leave, I told him I was pregnant. He looked me dead in my face, called me a stupid little country nigger. I grabbed his hand and he snatched it away like he was all of a sudden too good to touch me. I was left holding a damn cufflink. He left the next day. Sweet Ma Ray said I had it coming. I called. I even took the bus to Richmond, 8 months pregnant. His mama called the cops on me. It wasn't long after you were born. I figured Ma Ray already knew more than I wanted to about babies, so I left, moved up here. She dropped the cigarette butt in her empty glass. So his last name is Turner. Does he have a first name? Turner is his first name. He's one of them important Negroes now, the ones we were supposed to look up to. His last name is Hughes. Turner Everett Hughes. Verna dabbed. Oh, wow. Verna dabbed at the sweat that trickled from beneath her wig. Pat couldn't have heard that right. Not the Turner Hughes. You knew Turner Hughes? Turner Hughes from the Vineyard. Turner Hughes on the ebony cover? Oh, I knew him all right, or at least I was stupid enough to think I did. The man had a silver tongue. I didn't figure out till too late it was 40. Fine. If you don't want to tell me the truth, then say so. But don't sit here making up crazy bullshit and expect me to buy it. You the one came in here asking about your father. You think I picked his name out the paper and spent 20 years making up a story for you? Verna examined Pat's face. She looked just like her and Turner mashed up together, but that hurt too much to dwell on. I don't know, Pat said, and that was the truth. Her drink was untouched, but she felt dizzy, like she was on the Coney Island ride that spins round and round, fast and fast until the floor drops out. And there she was, still spinning, stuck to the wall. I know him. I met him once. Turner Hughes can't be my father. He never would have bothered with somebody like her. She looked at Verna's cheap clothes and remembered how crisp and perfect Turner Hughes had looked. Those white shirts. Verna struck another match. The fire faded from orange to blue as it worked its own way down the match stem. Loving Turner was the worst mistake I ever made. If you see him again, tell him I said you're the real mustard seed. The smell of burnt popcorn filled Pat's nostrils. She leaned over and blew out the tiny flame on the end of Verna's thumbnail. There ain't no more to it. Verna slid to the end of the booth. Take as long as you want, but I gotta get back to the bar. Pat sat a minute. She had expected Verna to say it was some boy from Swan City, or even that she didn't know who her father was. But the notion of a young and vulnerable Verna duped by a sophisticated stranger was as foreign and ridiculous to her as the idea that Turner Hughes could be her father. Pat looked up when she heard Verna laugh, loud and raunchy. She was pouring a drink order for Lily and still chuckling at the joke. Uncle Joe's dead, Gail's pregnant and married, and Turner Hughes is my father. On her way out, Pat dropped $3 on the bar. Yep, I gotta get out of Dodge before she get any weirder. Pat wanted something to take with her to remember Uncle Joe by. Before she left Queens, she dug in the back of the kitchen junk drawer looking for his lucky rabbit's foot. He used to get it and make a big deal of rubbing it when he played Crazy Ace with her and Gail around the kitchen table. It was still there. Pat had given it to him the first Father's Day after she'd come to live at the Saunders house. He had laughed and hugged her and told her to remember there was no better luck than love. When she got back to Princeton, she decided to put the keychain away for safekeeping. So she unearthed Ma Ray's Bergamot 10. Even though Pat had created a new history for herself, she hadn't thrown out that can of old junk. It was all she had of the past she wasn't ready to let go. It was her legacy, and she was going to add Uncle Joe to it. Pat pulled off the lid, dropped the keychain inside, and was about to close it when she spied the small gold cufflink. She'd forgotten it was there. And I was left holding the damn cufflink. That's what Verna said. Pat picked up the oval T-H-E, the initials read. Turnal, T-H-E. Turner Everett Hughes, Verna said. so it should have been T-E-H. They put that wrong. All right, that's the end of chapter 10. I'll tune back in for chapter 11. Peace.